Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and a brand new video on Marvel Contest of Champions. I've been wanting to make this video for a long time, but haven't really found a good opportunity to make it. And it's a video all about Thor Ragnarok and why he does seem to be a bad decision with regards to be put into the game. The main kind of argument point is that this champion was put in correspondence to the release of Thor Ragnarok, the film, and the design is based on largely that gladiatorial fight in that arena, which obviously is about 5 minutes worth of actual airtime. So obviously, building a character based on that is incredibly difficult, especially if you're trying to reference a lot of stuff with regards to like the champion being there. And obviously that's the reason that he is largely skill, because it's basically a skill-based arena, and that's why we see him there in the film, and also in our game at large. Now obviously I don't know the ins and outs of it. I don't know if that the Thor Ragnarok film said, hey, we want to do some promotional stuff, so Marvel Contest of Champions, make a character, reference the film, which is on a lot of the promotional things for the champion. So if you look at some of the JPEGs, it does say Thor Ragnarok at the bottom, inspired by Thor Ragnarok. Whether or not they were approached to do it based on contractual obligations and kind of like a promotional payment type thing, it's really hard to tell. But regardless of which, we get the champion in the game, and this is the point in which I'm going to do this video. I kind of talk about why maybe this champion shouldn't be put in, and maybe they could have looked for other characters or other character designs when they were thinking about putting a new Thor into Marvel Contest of Champions. Because there is something that we all need to consider with regards to weaponry. So at the time of the film's release, other games decided to do like different character versions. So they did the version with regards to no helmet, and kind of a battle kind of paint, and then more kind of emphasis on the God of Thunder aspect. Marvel Contest of Champions went down the line of doing this kind of like helmeted, shielded, kind of like battle mace type look, which again is fine, and obviously the stance is very battle ready with him kind of, well, looking like he needs a pee, but that's again another story for another day. My main criticism is putting in a champion that aesthetically and the look wise just looks like, again, he should only be in there for 5 minutes. It's the same argument with the version that they've done of Punisher 2099 and the way he looked in the Marvel Contest of Champions comic books, where he appeared for a split second in that particular uniform before being killed. I think he's on there for about 2 images at most before being killed off. So it is a very strange thing with regards to putting in a champion from a character aspect that's only in there look-wise for a split second. Following on the criticism train, and looking at the fact that it's now February 2018 at the point of recording this video, we have had Hulk Ragnarok now being put into the game. So we've got Hulk Ragnarok and we've got Thor Ragnarok. Two champions that, again, with Hela, we've got this kind of like circle of 3 champions, this triangle that is gonna, you know, that should really be a case that only 2 champions released. And in my opinion, and the kind of end point that I'll come to at the end of the video, is that maybe Hela and Thor could have been released at the time of the DVD release and the theatre release, but it doesn't look like, again, it's just like pushing out this champion, which is done really well. And I'm not going to criticize it based on the champion's build. It is unique and it is fun, and there's great synergy work with that. And especially like if you've seen my content contributors video, which a link to will be in the description, I do think this is a great champion, and he does kick some major ass, which I think is great. So here's the point that my video actually becomes any kind of relevant to the argument point, because yes, I have been criticizing, but now here is the point, and it's all based on the weapon. And the question, could Kabam have waited to release a Thor character? So if you're not familiar with the film Thor Ragnarok, here's a spoiler. Thor's hammer gets destroyed by Hela. Okay, I spoiled it for you. But that's not all the spoiling that we're going to do, as this means that Thor is without a weapon, and obviously the God of Thunder needs a weapon. And in comic books there's so many ones to really choose from, but after Mjolnir there's like not many other kind of like popular or main ones, except for Jarnbjorn. And to give you an idea, Jarnbjorn is like a battle axe. Some designs have it as a kind of like curved battle axe, some have it as a kind of like battle axe meets kind of hammer. People, again, it's like similar to Beta Ray Bills, but there's so many designs, but the main aspect of it is a battle axe essentially. Hold the phone! You're telling me you've seen that before? You've seen that name? Yes, because on the Grandmaster crystals and the featured Grandmasters, it does say Jarnbjorn. So Kabam also are making this kind of like little point with regards to this champion when it comes to, hey, the battle axe. So there's a little bit of a spoiler there. And yes, it's pretty much a done thing now that we're going to be seeing Thor get Janborn. If you've seen some of the trailer, if you've seen so many videos about this, as well as some of the concept art, you'll see him sporting a type of weapon like Janborn, and also with the fact that he is trying to forge something. It looks like he's forging. He's like bringing these massive forges together, which look like obviously it's going to make something. I mean, that may not be the case, but it's like a 90% done thing. With Peter Dinklage's character potentially playing one of the dwarfs that then, or the last dwarf to then forge this mighty weapon for Thor. So it's going to be incredibly exciting. But obviously that then brings that argument to the game. This then brings us on to the questions. Should Thor Ragnarok have been put into the game? Should Kabam have waited to put in a different Thor? And do we think we're going to be getting a new Thor coming into the game within the year or next year? And just to recap these argument points, like number 1 with Thor Ragnarok, yeah, okay, it was, I mean, in my opinion, it was an okay film. But again, I'll cover that in another video, why I thought it was an okay film. The main thing is that a character that was in there, or kind of design of the character that was in there for a microsecond, I would say 5 minutes to be fair, should that be the basis to make a whole new champion from? Was that a case that they were just like rushed with regards to what they were putting? And at the same time, are they contractually obligated not to put in a design that says has blinded in one eye? Because obviously that's going to be one thing that spoils the film. Should they have them waited theoretically for the DVD release and maybe put some kind of like different design, the one that had the shorter hair with no helmet? That would be the argument point with that, or maybe one that was just more hands-on with regards to the last fight against Hela. You know, that would have been the decision that they'd have to make. Do they show too much? Do they show too little? Or do they make something a little bit different? And obviously they made something a little bit different versus a character that's in there, or a character design that's only in there for a short space of time. Now I'm going to finish off with my final points, and then we'll throw it over to you for the questions. So my final points are that this champion, Thor Ragnarok, when he was released, it was an emphasis of this is very kind of like in the moment, this kind of very short space of time with regards to the appearance that he is on screen in this type of aesthetic. But then when it comes to other Marvel games, they decided to go for a non-helmeted version, and there was more emphasis on the God of Thunder. And again, there's no great criticism of the developer, but at the same time, when it comes to releasing something in the game and talking about longevity, then that is something that really has to be touched on. Yes, to a degree, we did need a different looking Thor, but Thor Ragnarok, with regards to the appearance side of things, only captures a very small space of time. The same way that Punisher 29 did, but that was obviously in the comic book version. So if you've read the Marvel Contest of Champions comic books, you'll know that Punisher 2099, the look in game, was only in for a microsecond before being killed. Yeah, sucks to be him. But when it comes to this champion and this look, I felt that this was kind of rushed. And I think obviously that is based on maybe the promotional side of things. Did the film behind Thor Ragnarok pay Kabam to put this character in, or pay to kind of say, hey, promote our film, put a new champion in that's kind of like similar to the film? And obviously they did that with Hela, and then obviously with Thor Ragnarok. Could they have done Hulk Ragnarok instead? Yes, I think that would have been better. Or did one champion and then another champion? The Hela that's been released looks a lot like the one from the film, and obviously the Hulk Ragnarok, or the Hulk from Ragnarok, or the Gladiator Hulk that was released in February of 2018 is similar to that one in the film. So one character on each kind of release point, the theatre release, the DVD release. That I think would have been fine. They could have then saved that idea for developing a Thor until Infinity Wars and decided to release one that's this kind of Janborn version. I mean, they make a nod to it in the featured Grandmaster crystals, so therefore, why can't they do the same with regards to waiting for that? Instead, it leaves us with a kind of a question that, are we going to see this in the next 12 months? I don't think so, but next 24 months, maybe. And the design side of things, like if we were to get a new Thor, which again, I really do believe in, would we see one with missing an eye, similar to the MCU, but with short hair? Or would we see a long-haired version with Janborn, the Battle Axe, and maybe even Yuri the Destroyer? Because it's a fun fact that Thor got his arm chopped off, and he was then given the arm of Yuri the Destroyer, and this kind of like metal, which was like just super strong. It's just like enhances everything. It kind of interacts with the person that it hosts, and then it just kicks more ass. So that is like that's really cool. Would we see that? I don't know, but it's like one of these wish lists that you got like a metal armed Thor with a big battle axe. It's kind of a cool like fanboy type thing to behold if we could ever get it. But either way, the question goes off to you guys. And do you think that Thor Ragnarok should be in the game? Do you think maybe that Kabam could have waited to put a different version of Thor in? And what's your thoughts on Jan Born with regards to a new kick-ass battle axe that we are most definitely going to be seeing in the upcoming Infinity Wars, and the whole kind of forging with Peter Dinklage as a dwarf? Potentially, that's some people said that he's going to be playing Pip the Troll, but again, it's very hard to tell. I mean, he looks he's got like long kind of like red hair and a beard. He looks more like he's going to be a dwarf, like a forging dwarf, and working with Thor. But hey, we don't really know, but it looks like it's likely. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this video. I've been Rich the Man, and it's been a video all about Thor Ragnarok. If you want to follow me on social media, links are popping up. Obviously, support the channel on the Patreon, which the link is in the description. And as always, I shall catch you on the flip side. Bye-bye for now.